This is Daily Armenia, CivilNet's daily news digest. Here's what's making headlines in Armenia today. Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan outlined a 12-point roadmap for regional cooperation today, while firmly rejecting Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev's Western Azerbaijan narrative as a threat to Armenia's territorial integrity. Azerbaijan is closing the possibility of any discussion by using this wording because it makes it evident that it is attempting to use the issue of refugees to form territorial demands against Armenia, Pashinyan wrote in a post on Facebook. Aliyev has repeatedly used the term Western Azerbaijan to refer to Armenia, where thousands of ethnic Azerbaijanis lived during the 20th century. In response, Pashinyan defined Western Azerbaijan and Western Armenia, limiting them to specific regions within the country's internationally recognized borders, unlike the commonly accepted definition of Western Armenia as the historical Armenian populated territory within present-day Turkey, emptied by the Armenian genocide of 1915. At the same time, Pashinyan listed several districts of Azerbaijan that border Armenia, such as Lachin and Zangelan, adding, "There is no Western Azerbaijan beyond this, and cannot be. If they really want to search for it elsewhere, then we can consider Nakhichevan as Western Azerbaijan, too." Pashinyan's normalization proposal includes several key points, including completion of the treaty, which he claims is already 90% ready, implementation of the Crossroads of Peace project for regional connectivity, and establishment of joint mechanisms for investigating ceasefire violations. Notably, he also proposed dissolving the inactive OSCE Minsk Group mediation platform, as has been demanded by Aliyev. Pashinyan suggested addressing refugee issues through a joint commission, but only after the peace treaty signing. In a wide-ranging press conference yesterday, Foreign Minister Ararat Mirzoyan also touched on Aliyev's narrative of Western Azerbaijan. He described it as a direct territorial demand on Armenia and called Azerbaijan's concept of the Zangezur Corridor unacceptable as well. He rejected Aliyev's suggestion made earlier this week that the Armenian government receive what is known as the Western Azerbaijan Community to discuss their resettlement on Armenian territory. Calling Armenia's territory Western Azerbaijan already shows that they have aspirations against Armenia's territorial integrity, Mirzoyan said. This is yet another fake, ambitious, and maximalist project of the Azerbaijani authorities, directly sponsored by them, and they aren't even hiding this. He added that it is no secret that Azerbaijanis lived in Soviet Armenia, but that the overwhelming majority of them left in what he called a rather civilized way, often selling or trading their apartments with those of Armenians who were being expelled from Azerbaijan. He compared this with the pogroms and persecutions that befell the over 500,000 Armenians who had lived in Soviet Azerbaijan. When asked about relations with Turkey, Mirzoyan said talks remain active, but that, regrettably, the Turkish side continues to link the Armenia-Turkey normalization with the Armenia-Azerbaijan one, saying normalization with Turkey would have a positive impact on the process with Azerbaijan. In response to Aliyev's complaint that Armenia is a geographic obstacle between Azerbaijan and Turkey, Mirzoyan countered that Armenia has no such intention, but instead to be a bridge between countries. He emphasized that Armenia is interested in reopening regional transport links as long as its territorial integrity is respected, as opposed to the demands made by the Zangezur Corridor concept that implies there would be no border control on both ends of the transport link connecting mainland Azerbaijan with its Nakhichevan exclave. Mirzoyan said negotiations continue with Azerbaijan, with 15 out of 17 articles of the normalization deal already agreed upon, adding that Armenia is awaiting a response to its latest proposals. The two countries' border delimitation commissions intend to meet later this month. Armenia's government approved and submitted to Parliament a bill initiating the process of accession to the European Union today. However, Pashinyan cautioned that the move should not be interpreted as an application for EU membership, as such a decision would require a nationwide referendum. We need to develop a roadmap and understand how we envision this process, as well as how the European Union sees it. This path has many aspects that require detailed discussion. Only after negotiations will it become clear whether the question of EU membership should be put to a referendum, Pashinyan said during the government session. The initiative comes as Armenia and the EU deepen their cooperation, marked by ongoing visa liberalization talks and Armenia's recent participation in the European Peace Facility program. In his press conference yesterday, Foreign Minister Mirzoyan highlighted the EU's political support for Armenia's government and its contribution to regional security through the civilian monitoring mission along the Armenia-Azerbaijani border. Mirzoyan also emphasized that this legislative initiative aims to signal Armenia's readiness for practical work toward closer EU integration, while Pashinyan cautioned against both excessive optimism and concern, stressing that all decisions must align with Armenia's national interests. And finally, the CivilNet number of the day is 101. That's because Armenian film director Sergei Parajanov was born 101 years ago today. The creator of masterpieces like The Color of Pomegranates and Shadows of Forgotten Ancestors, Parajanov faced severe persecution from Soviet authorities and was sentenced to a 5-year imprisonment and hard labor due to his sexuality and criticism of Soviet realism. Despite the crackdown that significantly limited his output to only a handful of films, Parajanov's work has become a cornerstone of Armenian cultural heritage and continues to influence filmmakers worldwide. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.